I'm Bill Gordh. I'm a storyteller, and I'm here now with Cyro Baptista, a Brazilian percussionist. And we're here to share with you the story of Night Comes to the Rainforest, a Brazilian folktale. It was bright, so bright, all the time bright. Flowers bright, yellow, red, blue, green, orange. Bright, 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 all the time bright. You see, in those days, there was no night. It was day all the time, day all the time. No night, no night. It was bright, 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 bright. And there was a farmer, and he was married. He is married to the Snake King's daughter, who'd become a woman. And he was a hard-working farmer. All the people were. But they hardly ever slept. Once in a while in the shade, they hardly ever slept, 'cause it was so bright all the time. And the daughter said to her husband, "Husband, we need night." And he asked, "What's night?" And she said, "You've never seen it, but my father told me about it. Close your eyes, husband." And he closed his eyes. And it's darker than that. Cover your eyes with your hands, with your eyes closed. It's darker than that. And she put a shawl over his head with his hands over his closed eyes. And she said, "Night is darker than that." And he said, "Wow. With night, I could sleep. With night, I could sleep." And she said, "I know. We need to get night." And the farmer said, "Let's take our canoe down the Madeira River. Down the Madeira River, we'll go visit your father and ask him for night. Ask him for night." And she looked across the fields and she said, "But husband, all our crops are not in yet. We can't go down the river." "Oh, but look at the fields next door. Our neighbors are finished. And night's gonna help everyone. Let's ask them if they would go down the river, visit my father, and bring back night." Good idea. And so they visited the neighbors, 3 neighbors, and they told them of their idea, and they described night. "Sure, we'll go. We'd be glad to go. We'd love to go down the river and bring back night. We've never met your father." So the 3 neighbors got in their canoe and started down the Madeira River. It's a fast-moving river. Here they go. the river, down the river, down the river they go. And on down the river, the strong current carrying them along, down the Madeira River. And then they saw him, the Snake King. There he is. There he is. The Snake King. Wow. And the Snake King was on the shore of the river, along the riverbank. And the Snake King looked up and saw the three neighbors. People never came down the river that far. So the Snake King was worried. What is it? What is it? Is my daughter sick? Was she hurt? Oh no, what's wrong? What's wrong? The Snake King loves his daughter. And they said, no, she's fine. She sent us here. She said that you knew about night, and that you know where it is, and that you could bring it to us, and that we would be able to sleep again. And the Snake King said, well, if my daughter said to give you night, I will get it for you. And the Snake King moved into the water. Down, down, down. The river is deep there, and there goes the Snake King down. Down. And the three neighbors waited in the canoe. They waited and waited. The water's moving. The water's moving. Here comes the Snake King. And up out of the water, his great head. Something is in the Snake King's mouth. Tukuma nut. He spit it out. Poof, into the boat. And they looked down at the nut. What is it? You know that nut. Yes, but why did you give it to us? You see, I filled it with night. And you see, do you see that place on the side where you usually get the milk out? I covered it and I sealed it tight. Do not open it. Do not open it until you give it to my daughter. It's her job to open it because she knows the magic. And you do not. Do not open the nut. And they said, no problem. Why would we want to open the nut anyway? We'll just paddle back up and thank you. And so, the three neighbors started paddling up the river. That's hard work. They're paddling, going up the river. And they look at the nut lying in the bottom of the boat. Look at that nut. And that's when they heard something. What's that? What's that? Wait a minute. There's a sound coming from the nut. What could that be? Sounds like something alive in there. Is that night? What do you think it looks like? What do you think it is? Should we open it? The Snake King can't see us now. No, keep paddling. Keep paddling. Keep paddling up the river. Come on, let's go. Forget about the nut. We need to take it to the Snake King's daughter. Forget about the nut. Keep paddling. Did you hear that? And look at it moving now. Keep paddling. Keep paddling. Keep paddling. Keep paddling. The nut kept moving around in the bottom of the boat with the sounds coming out. The sounds coming out. Oh, what do you think it is? The Snake King's far away. Let's look, and then we can put it back in. No one will need to know. No, don't do it. Don't open it. Don't open it. Don't open it. Don't open it. But you know what they did, don't you? Yes. They opened it. They took out... Darkness came out of the Takuma nut. Darkness came out of the Takuma nut. Night. And the three neighbors could not even see each other. Mosquitoes came flying out of the Takuma nut. Look at the night, the darkness. Far away, the darkness is moving across the sky towards the Snake King's daughter and her husband. Kind of the way you see a storm across the sky. There it is coming. Oh no, said the daughter. They let night out. And she turned to talk to her husband, but he was asleep. She looked around. Everyone's sleeping. Sleeping. She looked out across the ground. There's a rock. What? The rock transformed into an armadillo. No one had seen one before. A night creature. An armadillo. And the night daughter. The Snake King's daughter. Now we call her the night daughter. She fell asleep herself. And then it all started happening. There's a log on the side of the river, and the log becomes a caiman. There's a long tree that fell down, and it becomes a anaconda. There are leaves, and they start moving in the wind, and they turn into bats. Bats flopping. There's a bush, it turns into a tapir. There's another bush. Puma. More leaves, more bats, more leaves, more bats. Snakes. Centipede. A burrowing worm. night creatures. And the daughter wakes up. Everyone is asleep. She looks around and sees the animals, the night animals, moving through the darkness. And she pulls out one hair from her head, a long black strand of hair. And she takes that hair and ties it to the edge of night. And she takes another nut and she starts pulling the night into the nut, 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 into the nut. More night, more night, more night, more night. But not all the night. Now there's night and there's stars in the sky. Now the night's like the night we like. And she smiled, there's night. That's what we want. And she took the nut that had the rest of that night in it, and she took it deep into the rainforest, and she threw it out there. And she came back, and she lay down next to her husband, and they slept. And morning came. Morning came. A new day. The sounds of beginning. And now in the rainforest there is night. Now in the rainforest there is day. And that's the story of night comes to the rainforest.